few moments later.
We're getting the Gina opening for at least a week. What's up, guys? It is Andrew Esquire here on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, Florida attorney and your resident-based Chad in Asia, who is so glad to see you all here today with me. Talk about Swifties. We're going to do it. I'm going to get absolutely bombarded. Here comes the nuclear orbit strike from the Swifties. But before they purge me off this earth, we're going to talk about the rise of Swiftie dusters, Taylor's Disney era, all the good stuff here today on The Legal Mindset. I actually have a shocking amount of material on this prepared for today, a disturbing amount of material prepared for today. So strap in and strap on. It is going to be a wild ride. And as you come in, guys, make sure you like the video and you smash the like button. Also, happy weekend. Yes, it is 8:50 p.m. over here in Bangkok, Thailand. And I will be so roamery this whole weekend. No, I'm just joking. After I finish this, I will definitely be heading out, meeting out with some friends. So I'm looking to having a very good weekend, actually. A very nice weekend. Weather is beautiful here in Thailand. So I see people already trolling me with Shake It Off. Don't worry. Good to see everybody in the chat today. Also, special shout out to the number one today, who was the first one, which was Chipmunk of Vengeance, who was the first post I saw in this chat. Also, Chipmunk of Vengeance joined the RPG, the replay gang. So welcome as a member. Chipmunk of Vengeance. Okay, Walt Wright Walt Wright's just going crazy saying, I'm going to have bad blood. Oh, no, the Swift puns are coming. They're coming. So in the chat, I do have the poll of how you feel about Tay-Tay. Do you like her music and her politics? Do you just like her music? Do you dislike her music and her politics, or dislike all things Tay-Tay? I'm going to leave that up pretty long. I want to get everybody who comes in to get that. So it's a very statistically accurate poll, here. And so far it's pretty split here. You got 60% that say they dislike all things Taylor Swift and 34% who say they just like her music, which is kind of how I thought it might play out. All right. So we're going to get into all that. But before we get into that, I do need to mention a couple other news items sort of as a warm up today. And that is one of the things to mention. First of all, if you guys haven't read it, but obviously there's the legal decision here regarding Biden's memory. If you guys, and there's a lot to this, there's a lot of clips from this, but I just love that this concluded that Biden's memory may have significant limitations, right? Because the guy cannot remember stuff. His recorded conversations are often painfully slow, with him struggling to remember events and straining at times to read and relay his own notebook entries. This is absolutely savage, right? And look at this down here too. In a case where the government must prove Joe Biden knew he had the possession of the classified Afghanistan documents and chose to keep them, knowing he was violating the law, we expect at trial his attorneys would emphasize these limitations in his recall. So literally, their excuse for Biden is that he has his dementia and his memory are so bad that he can't be held accountable. Also, he didn't remember when his son died. I mean, that's real bad. That's real bad. So anyways, that's your president of the United States of America over there. And then also we have on here, and I just want to throw this out there. This is a little bit of a fun one. And I think some others cover this. I think Flash may have covered this. But we have here, people are recognizing what the earnings call said and what it didn't say. And what it did absolutely say and confirm is that Star Wars, the Marvels, and Wish were all failures, that they were all busts, that they were all losers, right? So we've got that confirmed in the earnings report that all of these things were actually losing money. You can see this right here. This increase in operating costs was due to the performance of the Marvels and Wish compared to Avatar, Black Panther, Avatar, and Strange World. So literally saying Marvels and Wish tanked their profits, that they were actually big losers. Like it's on the paper now. We're down. We're down with that. And then you can see here, the increase in consumer products operating results was due to licensing revenue resulting from higher sales of products based on Spider-Man and Mickey, partially offset by the decrease in sales of products based on Star Wars. Nobody is buying Star Wars. Nobody's buying the Marvels. Nobody's buying Wish, right? So a little bit more of a confirmation of stuff that we all knew. Matt Grizzly says, boo, woke Taylor Shifty, Mr. Pfizer butt, and Kansas City queefs. We're going to get into it today. We're going more deep on Taylor Swift than we are on her boo, right? But we'll get a little bit of that in there. Don't you worry. All right. So let's kick this off. Okay. So why did I decide this is the right time? Well, right now, literally my feed, and as you guys know, I am in Asia, right? So obviously I'm getting a little bit of a different feed than you guys, but it is covered with a certain type of thing because right now Taylor Swift is in Japan, right? So in case anybody, look, for all those people out there, and I know the Swifties are not going to be happy about everything I say today, but let me say this. Taylor Swift, like it or not, is internationally popular. There are people all around the world who like Taylor Swift, right? Now, that may not be the majority of every country. It may not be the majority of every population, but that is a very large segment. And beyond that, Taylor Swift is very good at marketing to women. I'm going to talk about that more and more about her marketing to women and kind of in this post-masculine world, in this world that really doesn't put emphasis on dudes anymore. She narrowed her marketing, her primary marketing to women and hit a home run there. Now, that doesn't mean that guys don't listen to her stuff. Doesn't mean that guys can't say, okay, her stuff is catchy, right? Because obviously the pop music of today and certainly Taylor Swift songs are more catchy and have a deeper story, quote unquote, than many of the songs from back in the 90s or 80s that were pop songs, which were pretty much just people repeating the same words over and over again, like yeah. The times, they are a change, right? Now let me point out what was going over my feed here from Japan. So I'm going to play the audio here. So this is a Japanese fan of Taylor Swift. Let me just give you a little bit of the scope of the Swiftie.
What would you say to Taylor? What would you tell Taylor?
What would you? I really love you, Taylor. 大丈夫だよ。もらいに来たんだけど、かわいい。大丈夫。
So this is what's going on right now, even in Japan, right? Even in Japan, they're there, right? Like they're there. Daijobu, by the way, means like never mind. It's a very useful word in Japan, right? Someone asks you if you want something, you say daijobu, it means don't worry about it, right? But also it's like using it in a comforted way there. Yeah, that's real, guys. I'm not making this shit up. So when I say this, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, it's just a bunch of, no, there's people all around the world. There's people everywhere that are into Taylor Swift. People that don't even speak English, right? They don't know any English, but they know every word in English of the Taylor Swift song. In fact, that's actually a really good example. If we tried to have a conversation with her, I'm sure, there'd be a lot of limitations to her English, but I'm sure she knows every single word of every Taylor Swift song. I guarantee it. It's a slide. Remember, for 6 months, says you're missing a point in a poll. I love the fact that she's a capitalist and doesn't really care one way or another other than that. This is one. No, that's actually one of my points, what I'm going to talk about today. And this is a big thing, is that do not fuck with Taylor Swift's money. Taylor Swift is a savage when it comes to her money and making deals. So we can agree or disagree about her politics, and in fact, I'll disagree with a lot of her politics. But one thing that is indisputable, which by the way gives her a higher net worth than Bob Iger, she is now worth $1.1 billion to Bob Iger's measly $600 million. Pittance, right? It's a pittance. Taylor's absolutely crushed Iger in personal net worth, and she's merciless about it. But also, she's not doing it alone. She has big help from her family, particularly her dad. And we're going to get into this. We're going to get into this today. It's a very interesting little angle here. All right. So why are we talking about this? Why am I talking about this at all? Well, first of all, I wouldn't really be bringing it up if it wasn't for the earnings call. Obviously, for anybody who was awake, paying attention, who was there when we were covering the earnings call, you probably saw that Disney got these streaming rights to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour. And there's a date set to launch. By the way, they've started to just say, all the outlets have started to just make it clear, she is a billionaire, right? So, and this tour she's been doing has been crushing it in terms of profitability. So, and it's going to stream on Disney Plus, exclusively on Disney Plus. Although I do believe, I do believe that there is the ability right now to go and directly purchase the film and stream it. I do believe there's an ability to do that, but I guess the only streaming platform that's going to have it is going to be Disney Plus, not Netflix or anywhere else. It's going to be Disney Plus, right? So Bob Iger announced that. And honestly, I know a lot of people were big on the Epic Games, but to me, what stuck out was, okay, this is marketing to a prime audience of Disney. Because while not every Swiftie is a pixie duster, right? Not every Swiftie, which, by the way, in case you don't know, Swiftie is short for Taylor Swift fan. They are called the Swifties, right? While not every Swiftie is a pixie duster, is a hyper crazy Disney fan. That's not true. There's many that do not like Disney. That is true. Everybody I know that does like Disney also likes Taylor Swift. If this is similar to a logic game for the LSAT, during the LSAT, all A's are B's, but all B's are not A's. So it's a kind of a subset, right? So yeah, definitely if you are a Disney adult, if I go and find a Disney adult and I say, do you like Taylor Swift? I will guarantee you 10 out of 10, they like Taylor Swift, 100%. It's guaranteed they like Taylor Swift. But if I ask a random Taylor Swift fan, it's a coin toss. Maybe, probably, but not everybody. So you've got this announcement, and one of the big things here, first of all, we do not know how much Disney paid for it. That's something we have not found out yet. I think we eventually will find out for that. But also you see how much they've been charging for it on demand. So it's been available. The concert film has been available to rent since December 13, 1989. I do believe this one for Disney Plus has different songs that were not on the main one. I don't know. Seems like there's extra give on this or some sort of impetus for them to actually go there. But it points out here that Swift did not work with any studio when it hit theaters. Rather, she distributed it through AMC. And let me just pull this article here. I've got so much today, guys. This is like a kind of a nuts episode where I have so much information. It's gonna be overwhelming. But when she did that, she pretty much straight up confirmed that her dad was the one who hooked her up with that. Yeah, here it is. So let me show you guys this. So this is from Time, and this shows you, hold on, I'll just do the whole window. This just shows you here how she got this movie deal. So she ended up getting this movie deal by right down here. Let me just zoom in here. Her dad, right? Her dad came up with the idea to cut out the middleman, and he just started calling people. So he just called them up and talked to them and went directly to Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC. And like she said, he's the friendliest man in the world. He'll meet somebody in an airport lounge in 1972 and still talk to him every week now. We work together, talking about our family. We're together because it's really exciting to do this as a family. I always joke that we're a small family business, right? So credit where credit is due there. She does credit her dad on that, but completely cut out the movie theaters, or sorry, the distributors, the Hollywood distributors, in order to make more money. So that's that angle right there. Now, in addition, right, given the background here, Taylor has been everywhere lately, and many people, who don't even care about Taylor Swift. I had a fan of the channel, Angry Webmaster. He sent me his opinion. He's like, I don't care about Taylor Swift. I don't care about anything. I just see her everywhere. And I think a lot of people who don't care, right, even the people that don't care, are noticing that they're seeing her everywhere. Of course, she was in Time, right? That was a thing. And then, of course, this happened, right? This happened, which was Vivek claims Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are in a fake relationship and the Chiefs will win a rigged Super Bowl. And the internet melted down and the people on the left melted down. It just absolutely went out there. And it always goes like this. So Vivek proposes this, which is completely plausible. It's plausible. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. It's plausible, right? That, hey, they're just there, they're putting on a little bit of a show. They're going to do it. And then, they're going to have that Super Bowl kiss and go, vote Biden. Look at the camera and go, vote Biden. Completely plausible. There's nothing that'd be wrong with that. I mean, she has put out her political leanings, which we're going to go into deeper later. She's put out her political leanings as leaning towards Biden. That's pretty public. Travis Kelce, super into the jab. That's not debatable. So he's still on that side of the aisle. Now, when you get into rigging the Super Bowl, that's a little bit spicier. And when you also get into they're a Pentagon asset. Now, that's where people, I think, get lost, because you don't have to be, they don't always have to be a Pentagon asset. People can just be ideologically driven in what they do. In fact, I believe truly that many of the folks in Hollywood, right, that have political opinions, they just have political opinions because that's who they are and that's who they're around in Hollywood. They're not all Pentagon assets. They just all think like that because that's how everyone in LA thinks. Anyone who's been to LA knows that. Right? And of course, when people started getting annoyed about her showing up in NFL, they made some comments about it. Said, hey, why is she showing up in all these games? And guys, by the way, real quick, just don't spam in the chat, please. Don't mind what you say, but don't spam in the chat. Appreciate y'all. But so people were pointing out, hey, she's very, very often in the shots of the NFL, right? We're seeing her a lot. And some of the sports analysts decided to comment on this. I'm going to play this clip from a particular sports analyst. I don't know who this guy is. Once again, I'm not a huge sports guy. Probably have to call him Mexican Iron Man, who is way more of a sports guy than me. But then look at how this guy torches everybody who opposes Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Listen to this.
There's a lot of really weird, lonely, insecure men out there.
So we're already starting with that. Let me rewind this again.
There's a lot of.
I'm going to get rid of this guy. This guy's that was from a super leftist guy's channel. But what I think of when I think of that, and to be real quick here, I think of right away my man, Kevin Samuels. And I think for those that may or may not know Kevin Samuels, he used to give a lot of advice to women, particularly African-American women, but women in general as well, on how to be a high-value woman instead of a low-value woman. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. But he talks about a lot of the shaming tactics of low-value women, right? Of women that are not valuable. By the way, these are used by men too. And in this case, I would say Skip Bayless here is Skip Bayless or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't even know his name. Whatever. This guy, that fucking douche. He uses these tactics. He uses these female arguing tactics. So let me play Kevin Samuels here real quick. But this is once again late great KS.
Shame is one of the 4 major arrows of a low value woman. It's part of a low value woman's pathology. You cross the board. I don't care what you have on paper. When women operate in these areas, they diminish their value to low. Because if you really have a good argument, you should not have to shame somebody. Shaming is just a way to get control of the conversation. Shame is different than insults. Shame is used to turn a positive into a negative.
So shame is the big thing that I want to talk about. It's shame, insults, guilt, need to be right. All of that is going on there with, and that's a long clip, so I'm not going to play all 7 minutes. But the point is, that's the sort of tactics that he was using, right? Very emotional tactics, very much yelling, oh, well, you need to look at yourself before you criticize Taylor Swift. No, you are. Oftentimes you're paying money. In fact, talking to Mexican Iron Man, he was paying $140 because he wanted a month because he wanted cable and he wanted to watch sports. You're paying for the sports. Maybe you don't want to see that as part of your sports broadcast. You are paying. You're allowed to say what you do and don't want to pay. By the way, I'm sure that a Taylor Swift fan who would have to watch something, who's trying to watch her Taylor Swift concert, and it's interrupted by a commercial for, I don't know, electric kazoos, might not want to watch that, something they're not interested in. Although they might be interested. Who knows? But the point of the matter is that if you're interested in something, it's being interrupted by something else, and that's something you really don't care about. Okay, well, and you don't want to watch it. You're allowed to say, hey man, it's not something I'm really interested in. That's your right to say that. Right? But beyond that, when it's every single game, there's more going on. It's more going on. It's Just Live says saying NFL games are only 18 minutes is pure bullshit. For hardcore fans, the game is in the moment, the huddle is broken, and we can see the offensive formation. Yes. Yeah, that's actually really bullshit. I don't know where he pulled that from. That's some of this stuff. Like, I have no idea. I'm like, I don't even know where you got that from. By the way, don't ever forget when the NFL did this particular campaign here. So once again, sports has been sliding, right? And from a corporate level, they have their messaging, right? But yeah, it's definitely more than 18 minutes. Calhoun says for a stats guy, he doesn't know stats. No. And his whole stats about in general, the male-female relationships and all that stuff going on, he doesn't know that stuff. Like, he's really bad on that. Fortunately, your boy has had enough conversations with Drex and all of the Red Pill folks to know all those stats pretty much down pat. Torgo says this guy is absolutely owned by the gunocracy. Yes. To automatically say that everybody who would complain about Taylor Swift is a sad little man, right? That's not, come on. Argo Sluff says, thanks. I'll now never watch preachy Fox Sports. There we go. And Tigrat said, F that simping cuck. Yes, thank you very much. And definitely forget that guy. One Dickhead gifted 5 Legal Mindset membership. Thank you, One Dickhead, taking it to the head over here for the Swifties. So we've got here 5 gift memberships. Say thank you, Mary Payne, Doc No, Matt 1, Zen Demon, and Fallout Zone. Say thank you because you just got hooked up by that dickhead. Next, Zolandi says, gonna send a few bucks for bringing up the late great Kevin Samuels. Rest in power. He helped so many break down the modern feminist spell we were under. And to be honest, he genuinely wanted to help women. Now, I had the chance of meeting Kevin Samuels twice in person. I met him in Miami twice. Just as much, he was the definition of a high value man. And, you know, when we're talking privately, he goes, look, I'm trying to help these women, but they're not going to listen. The majority of them are not going to listen. Only a few people listen. Now, I know a lot of you guys, you're doing the right thing. You guys are on the right track. And one thing I like that Kevin Samuels did is separate high value and low value. And it's always possible to make yourself into a high value person. And by the way, there's low value men and there's high value men. There's low value women, there's high value women, right? It's always possible to increase that. It's just, are you willing to do what it takes? And sometimes it's very, very hard, particularly if it involves changing your personality or your agreeability, right? That can be hard. That can be hard for a lot of people. Is This Live says, showing Tay-Tay interrupts the analysts and interferes with my ability to point out how they're all idiots. I know more. And I am actually right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does sidetrack things. Okay. So, and let me make sure I won't go on these other ones. Yep. There we go. Okay. Now, let me make sure. Okay. So obviously, Taylor has a different kind of take and style than people of times past. And let me just say that when you think about past pop stars, and when I think about past pop stars, when I think about people from growing up, like for example, when I was growing up, it was definitely Britney Spears, right? And then a little bit when I was a little bit younger, it was Madonna. Now, I know that most of you, when you think of Madonna, you're thinking of this weird alien creature, like this alien creature Madonna, right? This is the scary modern Madonna. Obviously, I am not talking about this alien creature. I am talking about this version of Madonna, because this version of Madonna is definitely still Madonna, right? And that's the Madonna that a lot of people knew back in the day. In fact, that's the Madonna that I think most people would have remembered, right? Would have known, hey, this is Madonna, right? That identified that as the Madonna they knew and followed. And why I bring this up is back in the day, Madonna and, you know, Britney Spears too, they appealed to both men and women, right? So there was, and yeah, people mention body of evidence, right? Madonna had songs that were liked by, you know, people as well, but guys would be like, yeah, Madonna, she's hot, right? I mean, kind of indisputably there. Right now, she's got some bad political takes sometimes, and I'm not going to go into that. But pretty much, she hates Trump right now, which, you know, that's a thing. But I mean, even back in the day, look at her. You know, as much as she hates Trump now, she used to pose with American flags. You know, used to rock that style back in the day. Definitely has changed. Madonna's politics definitely have changed from this day. And when you go to Britney Spears, right? We all know Crazy Britney, right? But if you recall, Britney back in the day was like this, right? You know, in fact, there's so many Britney in like this, right? This is old Britney, right? Remember that young Britney? Young Britney, remember that? People say they prefer Kylie Minogue. Okay, whatever floats your boat. The point is, if I asked you, was peak Britney Spears or Madonna hot, you would say yes, right? You would say yes. You'd be like, yep, she was hot. She's hot for sure. If I asked you, is Taylor Swift hot? I'm pretty sure people would not say yes. In fact, actually, I'm gonna put this poll in the chat. I'm gonna put this poll in the chat. Okay, I wanna see what you guys think. Okay. Is Taylor Swift hot? Yes, no, and then I'll put like two other options, like, right? So I'll put she is just cute or meh, right? So you have like no opinion at all. Meh is like zero opinion, like could be other way, could be completely average, right? So I want to see what you guys think. Is she hot? The question is she hot? Specifically asking hot. I'm not asking, the question itself is not cute or beautiful, whatever. Now, cute is an answer. You can answer that. But question is hot, right? Because to me, hot implies sex appeal. Let's see here. Henry K says, wasn't that the don't do drugs commercial? With Alien Madonna? Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs. Also, one other thing about Madonna, I want to point this out. And this is a big change in our society, which actually ironically goes along with Madonna. It's kind of, it's related, but not related. It's related to my grander point here, one of my grander points here, which is Madonna is one of those girls that nobody is trying to cancel Madonna. So back in the day, Madonna used to date people that were her age or even older, right? So she actually did date an older guy, right? But increasingly over the years, Madonna has dated younger and younger and younger guys, right? Vanilla Ice, Tupac, Dennis Rodman, Carlos Leon, Guy Ritchie, Alex Rodriguez, 18-year difference. Jesus Luz, Brahmin Zabat, 30 years. Timur Stephens, 30 years. Kevin Sampaio, 30 years. I don't even want to pronounce Ala Malek Williams, 36-year difference. Okay. You don't see anybody trying to cancel her. You don't see anybody trying to cancel her. But yet, if it was the other way around, it would 100% get canceled right away, right? That cancel mission would be out. And obviously, look, I think, and I'm going to be very fair here, I think this is not fair of like, this is Eliza Schaefer here saying, I don't get the appeal, right? And then he posts Taylor here. I think, look, Elijah is kind of missing the point. The point is, and I'll say this about Taylor, is Taylor hits the Goldilocks zone. Taylor is not, and let me see how you guys think in the chat. Okay, here you go. So 40% of you think she's just cute. 30% say meh. 20% say no. 10% say yes. So majority thinks she's either cute or meh. So average or cute, right? So average or cute, the vast majority of you guys. And I would agree with you. Actually, I agree with you too. First of all, I agree. Somebody in the chat said it. That's a bad picture. It is a bad picture of her. Taylor is the average girl, or the slightly like the six, like the girl that if she puts on makeup and she dresses nice, the girl next door, the cute girl next door who dresses, if she dresses nice, she can be really cute. She can be really cute. I would not say she has sex appeal, right? She's not a very sexy character, but that is actually a good thing because she's also very tall. That's very correct on it. Here's the thing about Taylor. If she was too hot, she would actually be disliked. And I don't think this is my hypothesis. And ladies, tell me if you think I'm wrong in the chat. If you think I'm wrong, tell me. But if she was too hot, she would be that unapproachably hot girl, right? She would be that hot girl that you get in a fight with. You might steal your boyfriend, right? She's the girl that you could be friends with. You could see yourself as being friends with Taylor Swift. And that's kind of one part of her appeal is people have this parasocial relationship where they think they could be friends with Taylor Swift. They're like, oh, we could totally hang out. Like and they've had that as the same experiences as Taylor Swift. They identify with her songs. They identify with the stories. They say, oh yeah, we could be there. There's that weird spot. And I actually call this the Kim-Kylie paradox. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. I call it the Kim-Kylie paradox. So, Kim Kardashian versus Kylie Jenner. So if I ask any guy, now most guys, whatever, at least maybe not after all she's gone through, but like objectively, Kim Kardashian, if I ask most people, they would say, okay, Kim Kardashian will qualify as hot. Kim Kardashian is not cute. She's definitely not the girl next door, right? Kim Kardashian is hot. Kylie is more cute, right? She's more of a regular girl. Now, of course, she's gotten work done too. She's done stuff like that. But what I'm saying is Kylie actually is better liked. She has more followers. She's better received than Kim. And compare Kim to Taylor, right? If Taylor looked like Kim, I don't think she'd be as appealing to the wider market, to everybody. I don't think everybody, even if she had the same talent, I don't think that it would happen. Now, by the way, I don't think that Kim Kardashian has the necessary skills, background, or whatever to do what Taylor does. Just to be very clear here. I'm just saying I think that's a factor, not the only thing, but a factor, right? Taylor obviously has different skills, background, etc. Just like Kim has a different background. Kim's background came out of the OJ trial, right? A lot of you are not Kim stands. No Kim stands in the chat. But the point is that it allows her to reach this super wide audience, which by and large, the Swifties, and I pulled the articles, but then they got pay gated because I've looked at too many of these. I've actually looked at too many articles because you bastards know that I'm doing research for you every single day on these crazy things. So there's actually a Swifties Wikipedia, which this information is accurate. I confirmed it. Okay. So, I know Wikipedia is not often accurate. In fact, it's often inaccurate, but this is accurate. Okay. So according to a 2023 survey, 53% of adults are fans of Taylor Swift. So that's a lot. 54% self-identify as Swifties and 16% as avid fans of the fans. So that's literally the 53%, right? So of course, this is a wider pool. By the way, I think that if you took our fans, the fans would, the differences in the demographic of the avid fans, the rabid fans, they would be a very specific type. But let me point out here, 52% of her fans are women, 48% are men. So it definitely skews female, right? Racially, 74% are white, 13% are black, 9% of Asian. Politically, 55% of the fans were Democratic, 23 were Republican, and 23 were independent. 45% are millennials, 23 are boomers, 21 Gen X, and 11 Gen Z. So by far and away, millennial white women, right? And like I said, if you go down to avid, I think that the avid fans, the men would drop to near zero. I think if you actually asked who's the avid fan, the men would drop to near zero. There'd be a couple of gay dudes. But that is pretty accurate on the demographics. Now they're not all woke, right? Because I've seen people in the chat even earlier said like, "Hey, I like Taylor Swift and I'm on the right." Yeah, I know a lot of people are. In fact, full confession, Andrew's confession time. One of my ex-girlfriends, huge Swiftie, huge Republican, right? So, and actually her best friend, also huge Swiftie, massive Swiftie, huge Republican. So it cuts across parties, guys. Just understand that. People think it's just one party. There's people in there. And beyond that, when I was in Orlando, like I said, not everybody who liked Taylor Swift liked Disney, but every time you're going to Disney, if I'm letting them put music on, Shake It Off is coming on, baby. Shake It Off is coming on. It's coming on. I'm just saying. If you let them run the radio, all those girls are in the Tay-Tay. Let me read some super chats here before I keep pushing this theory here. Weird says, I think Iger wants to steal assets. He wants creators to make stuff for him. He wants to get AI to make the movies. And Weird, you are touching on one of the ways in which I think Iger could get in deep shit with Taylor. And one of the last things he should do, and one of the lawsuits that could definitely come out that would wreck Disney, is to get in a fight with Taylor Swift. What we need to all understand here is that in this relationship, Taylor's wearing the pants and Bob's bending over. The last thing Disney would do right now they will nuclear launch their fan base if they were to screw her over even a modicum. Taylor Swift is in the driver's seat. She's got to be, because if she isn't, and Bob was to take advantage of her, I just think the demographic, look, the amount of people in the fight between Disney and Taylor Swift, people are taking Taylor Swift's side. They're not taking Bob Iger's side. Because, you know, as much as I can poke at Taylor for her politics, which, by the way, I'm going to show the political video, the famous political video here in a second, right, about her politics. And this is I believe, a leaked video. I believe it wasn't intended to get out. But she obviously, you know, has politics that are a certain way. But when people start screwing with your money, it's funny how politics will go out the window, right? You know, you can all be on the same team, but when people are screwing with your money, yeah, that's a problem. Right? That's a problem. Did the NFL pan to Giselle Bundchen that much? Nope, they did not. Weird says, Andrew, stop playing Hobbit, Smash or Pass. You guys know I love Smash or Pass. One of my favorite games. Is this live? It's a Swiftie mindset. We get it. Yes! Swiftie duster mindset. No. Although I've listened to enough Swiftie, I listened to enough Taylor Swift when I mistakenly say, yeah, you can put on whatever you want. And Look What You Made Me Do comes on as we're driving to Magic Kingdom. Just saying. Listen, 8 years in Orlando does things to a man. Changes a man. Anyways, where does this come in with Disney? Where does this fit with Disney? Well, look over here. You have a increasingly confirmed demographic that Disney shifts focus to Disney adults, right? So Disney has confirmed they are doing this, that this is their target, that this is where they're going. Okay? This is why Disney decided to take this up. And it just so happens that at the same time, Taylor aligns with their politics, which we'll talk about in a second. But this shift, right, in changing the parks to be more comfortable for Disney adults, which, by the way, you know, are generally millennials that are generally white, but can be also, and female, but can also be other races and types as well. But that also lines perfectly with Taylor Swift's demographics. Also, you've already got stuff. You've already got a ton of information out there on how people can do things like Disney bound Taylor Swift style, right? So you can match her albums to your Disney outfit. This is already out there. This was out there before this was announced, guys, right? This was already out there. Just understand that. I did not make this up. I did not put this up last night, despite what people may accuse. It's already out there, right? So you've got all of that already in the thing. And just imagine what Disney will try to do with merchandise, because this merchandise sells like crazy. And look at how much they can sell this stuff for. They can say, okay, here's your outfit, right? Buy all this stuff, right? Buy. Look at the cost on that. $159, $325, $167, $25, $49, $69. You know, paying like $1,000. I'm not $1,000, but maybe $750. My math, I don't math so good. But you're gonna pay a lot of money outfitting up to match Tay-Tay, right? That's costly. It's gonna happen. So they could do this with Disney, and you know that the mouse wants those bucks. Now, the one thing I can say about Taylor is she is very concerned about her profit, right? And I don't think she will allow Disney to do that merchandise without a separate deal, but I wouldn't be surprised if a deal is eventually struck, because Iger needs money. So from a business standpoint, I can see him saying, oh, hey, let's do merch. Because remember, their Star Wars merch isn't selling, but their Taylor Swift merch might sell. So you might start to see Taylor Swift merch in Disney World. No, and she definitely She definitely wouldn't do it without a deal, but she could strike a deal. I don't think that's beyond. Look, if they paid her the right percentage, if Disney said, Taylor, we're going to sell your merch, we're going to give you 90% of the profit, and we're going to keep 10. She might consider it. Who said she wouldn't consider it? She considered this deal. And Disney is so desperate for cash. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing that. I really wouldn't. Right? They make her a Disney princess. It's possible. Could happen. Now, once again, I got to be clear that I don't agree with the politics. Now, I know that people in the chat said, mention it. Yes, George Soros Group bought up her music. And suspiciously, the year that the George Soros Group bought up her music, affiliated group, bought up her music, she started getting into political activism. So that was very much aligned. In fact, those who may or may not have seen this, I'm going to play a small clip here. This is from the same, oh wait, no, not that one. This one here. This is back in, I think 2016 or right after 2016.
Got involved with politics or religion.
Yeah, but this is on the home front. And also, back in the presidential election, I was in such a horrendous place that I wasn't going to pop my head out of the sand for anything.
Why would you? I mean, does Bob Hope do it? Does Bing Crosby do it? Does Mick Jagger do it?
Hell, come on.
No, what I'm saying right now is
Bob Hope and
First
Bing
of all,
Crosby.
these aren't your dad's celebrities and these aren't your dad's Republicans.
And imagine if we came to you and said, hey, we've got this idea that we could halve the number of people that come to you next to it.
And the other thing, just from a security
So you
standpoint,
think people-
Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that. I'm
Yeah, Bob Hope was a Republican, by the way, yes.
sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that. I'm saying right now that this is something that I know is right, and you guys, I need to be on the right side of history. And if he doesn't win, that at least I tried.
Taylor, here's the problem.
I just want to read you what I wrote, and I'm going to try to start. I just really want you to know that this is important to me.
I
and this
totally
is something that,
agree with the issue. But
have
let
you
me explain
heard
to you.
her? Have you just
Yes,
heard?
I've read the entire thing. And the bottom line right now, I'm terrified. I'm the guy that went out and bought armored cars.
I worry for her safety as much as anybody does, maybe more.
It really is a big deal. She votes against fair pay for women. She votes against the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which is just basically protecting us from domestic abuse and stalking.
So let me remove this real quick. So I'm going to stop. Actually, I'll stop it there because I want to talk about. I'll have a separate thing to talk about what she's talking about. So, to be clear, the Violence Against Women Act doesn't just do that. There's other things within that act that have been cobbled into it that go beyond just those basic provisions. And I think, look, to Taylor Swift's, I don't know whether it's a defense or not defense, but just saying most people don't read these bills. Most people just read the bottom line, right? Like, here's what I'm telling you this means, right? Like, here's what the headline of this thing is, right? So, for example, one of the bills she was supporting, which is still not passed, but she was supporting it for a while, is the equality bill, right? She was very big about that. In fact, I forget which song. Swifties in the chat, tell me, what song was it that she had the equality bill like in the music video? There was a music video where she had the equality bill in. And then she puts fingers crossed, praying it goes to the Senate. We'll see trans and LGBT rights as basic human rights. They passed it 225-0. This bill, this equality bill, has never, ever, ever been taken out of committee because of the Bostock case, in case you guys don't know. Bostock versus Clayton County. So this case, which passed subsequent to the this coming down, right? The Bostock case actually a little bit before, but whatever. This case actually ended up giving certain rights to sexual identity and orientation regarding that in an employment context. So pretty much saying you can't discriminate against a gay or transgender employee. So that was something that was decided in a 6-3 decision with Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh dissenting, and Roberts, Ginsburg, Breyer, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Gorsuch actually in the majority on that one. So that was the Bostock decision. Now, what some people argue are proponents of that bill. They argue that, well, there's still not an extension of public accommodations laws into the area of goods and services, entertainment, other things. But mind you, extending those requirements and also making it include transgender means that men can just walk in wherever they want to sex separated places. It also would end every single female scholarship in America, every single female grant program, every single female incentive program. All of those go away immediately. And nothing would prevent a man from just being like, yep, well, today I just feel like I'm a woman, so you got to let me in, right? That, and you can't even question them. That would be discriminatory to even question that, right? There's no vetting you can do of that. You just have to let them in because they've identified as that person. So that obviously created a lot of problems for people. There's a lot of problems in implementation. California is finding this out because they've passed this, and they're having women's prisons where there are women that are getting pregnant in their women's prisons, and they're having to hand out condoms, right? Obviously, that is not safe for women, right? Which, we're supposed to be protecting people here, right? And I do think that Taylor, to be honest, and this is one thing I'll give a little bit of credit to her, she is stalked to a pretty fucking insane level. And she's that popular, but like her stalkers are that insane. And so from me listening to her there, it sounds like the concern for her is the stalking, right? It's the personal stalking. But just because that is an element of the bill, which it truly is an element of the bill, doesn't mean the bill ends there. Right? It doesn't mean that she's read all the laws, which is why we on our channels, why we cover these things so closely and we read the bills, we do the due diligence for you guys, because we can say, look, I know it says this is what the bill is, but it's not. It's not that. For example, when we're talking about the border deal has pretty much clearly been packaged with funding for Ukraine and Israel. So is it just the border deal if it includes funding for Ukraine and Israel? No, of course not. And these acts are the same way. And the Violence Against Women Act was actually the same way as well, right? And also contain things like red flag laws, which actually end up disproportionately hurting men and ending up in men being having their Second Amendment rights permanently taken away. So obviously she's got political takes that may be on the questionable side. But my deeper point here is that Disney does have a potential huge market with Taylor Swift and with the Swifties, right? There is a huge market there. There's a giant market there, but they have the potential to fuck it up. And do not sleep on Bob Iger's ability to fuck shit up. I guarantee you that when Bob Iger gets desperate, he gets back in the corner, he's searching for under the couch cushion for dollars, he might try to reach in that Taylor Swift bag and might get slapped down. So as much as, look, we may see the kind of Disney, the Pixie Dusters, Swiftie collaboration here, and I think it already exists. And I can say confidently, I know it exists, okay? As much as that is a thing, I think that is it a dangerous road to walk for Disney because it's got a lot of pitfalls for them. And I think that Taylor would zealously legally defend her rights. So I think there's a lot of potential for them to mess up with that. So it could make them money. It could be profitable, could have a lot of issues. That's my take on it. That's my take on it there. Industrious Bear says J-pop or K-pop, or does it depend on the group or artist or song by song? Honestly, I don't listen to either, but I will say this. K-pop girls are really hot. I mean, I think they're just really super attractive, but I mean, that's it. But once again, that's like going back to the old style, right? K-pop girls are kind of like going back to the 90s or the 80s, right? When it used to be like, oh, there's these super hot girls, right? That are just, here and they're performing and they're great. So yeah, I mean, J-pop is J-pop typically. The thing about J-pop and K-pop, it's J-pop, they want you to see the journey, the whole journey of the person. So they kind of start out with like imperfections that are not that good. K-pop, they have to be perfect. That's demanded. That's like Korean society is like, be perfect. So they come out of the gate as kind of perfect swinging. So that's a little bit of difference. Also Korean, Japanese style, a little bit different. Although I did spend a lot of time in Korea, so I do have a little bit of a bias there. But let's see. What do you guys think? Let me see here. Do you think? I mean, now, do you think? Let me put this. Do you think Taylor will openly endorse Biden? This is a yes or no. I want a yes or no on this. Now, here's my theory about Biden. I think that in terms of the Biden nomination, will he come out and endorse Biden? I think that might actually be really stupid. Because at this point, I think the smartest thing for the left to do, and it's not me giving them hints here or anything else like that, is be to distance themselves from Biden, particularly as I started this stream with this senile stuff, right? Increasingly, it's looking like, look, they're going to put this guy out to pasture. So do you want to come out here and endorse a guy who might be put out to pasture? Maybe not. Now, making a political statement or saying, well, I oppose what Trump is doing, maybe, but also not at the Super Bowl. I think at this point, enough people have come out and have called out this conspiracy theory that if they do it at the Super Bowl, they'll get called on it, right? So if Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift came out the Super Bowl and said, we're going for Biden, it's like, well, the conspiracy theory became right? But if they do it down the line, if they do it like 6 months from now, well, then maybe that's different, right? 6 months from now, it's different. And also 6 months from now, Biden may not even be around. Biden may be gone, right? Biden may have stepped down by then. We have no idea who's going to be around 6 months from now. That's how crazy this election season is. So I want to say, like, I think I'm a little bit more like, okay, I get where you're going with this. And there are tons of articles. There are tons of articles about both sides politically courting Taylor Swift because her demographics are exactly what you want to capture independence, right? To split the vote. But I think, and my thought is, especially from the poll today, I think a lot of you guys who said you like Taylor Swift, because by the way, 33% of the audience today said they like Taylor Swift, but not her politics, right? I don't think that any particular person is going to cause somebody to go over and vote the other way. And I think we do have the ability, particularly people who are right-leaning, tend to be smart enough to be able to associate people as separate from the thing they do. So they can say, look, you know, we've been watching actors in Hollywood for years, and almost all actors are woke, right? Mark Hamill, we just showed that the other day. Mark Hamill is deranged. Mark Hamill has lost it. But I liked him as Luke Skywalker back in the day. But I can separate me liking Luke Skywalker from me supporting the political views of Mark Hamill. Same thing with Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin's political beliefs are garbage. He's a blubbering liar. But Alec Baldwin was good in Hunt for Red October. You know, just saying it, man. Just saying it. So I think that's what's up with the Swiftie Dusters, and that's what's up with Tay Tay. Could be right, could be wrong. I don't know, but I think I'm right on this one. I think I'm right on this one. And I know that a lot of you don't care about it, but we'll get into other topics as we go along here. So we'll see what I cover tomorrow night. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do on my stream tomorrow night. Today, I wanted to keep it nice and short. I've had a lot of long streams, so we're gonna wrap it right here. But I want to appreciate all you guys for sticking with me, for being awesome, and for being one of the most based chats out there on all of the interwebs. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow. Maybe I'll have an AM and a PM. We'll see when we have a stream. But I will catch you all later. Peace.